Welcome in to Cold Brews and Hot Takes. I am Josh Kimmel, and today we'll be talking a ton about Week 13 and the upcoming playoff for your fantasy football team. So if you're new around here, it can get a little loud, can get a little rowdy. So I suggest you strap in and let's get this show started.
You're watching Cold Brews and Hot Takes, only on Fantasy Now Plus.
Welcome back into Cold Brews and Hot Takes. This is Josh Kimmel on your Monday afternoon. That's right. We have a lot to talk about. I hope you guys had a wonderful Thanksgiving. I hope you guys had a long weekend. I hope nobody worked Black Friday. If you did work Black Friday, I hope you had a very easy day. I hope you weren't in the apparently Black Friday is a thing again. Apparently people are doing Black Friday stuff. I didn't know that was a thing. I thought we all stopped it. We have Amazon, we have online shopping. We're back though. We're so back to Black Friday because let me tell you guys, I was out Friday morning and it was a madhouse. It was psychotic. Speaking of madhouses, we have a lot to get through today on this show, so I'm not going to get too far into it. But man, we have some stuffing stuff. We have a lot of stuff to talk about. We could talk turkey, right? We had a lot of weekend. We had a long weekend of football. We had football Thursday, 3 games. Football Friday, I totally missed. Long story. I planned to watch it. Didn't know it was a 3 p.m. start time. Dumb Josh here. We had Saturday of college football, if you're into that kind of thing, and then Sunday, of course, the full slate. But man, we had some ups and downs, some fantasy superstars totally crapping on you, and some fantasy unknowns totally going off, which leads us to Sam Darnold. He's probably about as dry as the turkey you had on Thursday. Let's be honest, man. We'll get into Sam Darnold in a little bit later, but when they're up and they're winning, Sam Darnold is going to kill your fantasy football team. Not sure if he's startable in the near future, just because they don't throw the ball a ton when they're up. Justin Jefferson. We'll get into Justin Jefferson, why this happened, why it's going to happen, and why you should probably sit him the rest of the season. I know that's crazy. I sat him in a matchup yesterday, and I didn't feel good about it, but it worked out. On that same team, I had JSN, so thank goodness I tried sat one of them. If I had 2 duds from those 2 guys, I probably would have lost my matchup. Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow returns. It's like seeing your long lost cousin from out of state comes in from the holidays. You guys kick off a great holiday weekend. You guys are sharing some drinks, some high noons, telling old stories about the past. Remember this time? Remember at grandma's house? Remember the time we went skateboarding and you thought you could ollie over 3 trash cans and you couldn't even make it over 1? We all tell fun jokes. That was like Joe Burrow coming back this week. It was wonderful to see Joe Burrow crush it. We're going to talk about Joe Burrow and if you're confident in starting him in the fantasy football playoffs. And finally, Mr. Jekyll and Hyde himself. I call him the Katy Perry of fantasy football. 1 week he's hot, 1 week he's cold. It's Bryce Young. We live in a world where he beats the Rams. He does very well. He crushes it. But then the next week he can give you 4.1 fantasy points. So we'll get into it all very soon, very, very soon. But first, I do got to get into my plugs. Let you know where to find us. Of course, fantasynowplus.com. You can find all of our waivings, rankings, and articles. Charlene puts out a great waiver wire article tomorrow at noon. So make sure you check that out for all your waiver information. Because I know that's a hot topic. It's week 14. We have teams on bye, and it's your last chance to get into the playoffs in the majority of your leagues. So that waiver wire show tomorrow is going to be very, very important. You can watch us on the Fins Talk Sports Network. That's where you can find myself talking about other things such as fantasy football. I talk wrestling as well. Big weekend for wrestling this week. We had Survivor Series, John Cena's last PLE. We talked about how we thought that would go. And if you're interested in that, we'll talk about how we thought it happened. Spoiler, it was a very bad last pay-per-view match for John Cena. But That's for another show. Maybe George Kittle will be interested in my thoughts on that. That is Saturdays at 5 p.m. on the Fins Talk Sports Network. Join our Discord. Discord is chat.fantasynowplus.com. That's where you can talk to us all, and where I will most likely I'm not you know. I'm not a chat guy. I'm not a texter. I'm not a group chat person. If you get me at a good time, I will be there. But if you at me with a specific question, I will be there. Just no one does that, so it's nice. Thank you guys. But if you want a specific question answered by myself, which I don't know why you would, if Brian and Tim and Justin and Sean and Charlene and Topher and Flo, all the smart people are there. I'm more of the clown of the show, so you can at me there as well. Let's get into some injuries. We did have some injury news. Unfortunately, we see Justin Herbert had a hand fracture. I believe it's on the opposite hand, so it shouldn't really affect much, but you need two hands to play football, guys. I don't know. People say, oh, it's only the left shoulder, only the left hand, only this or that. Guys, it still hurts. Pain tolerance, I guess, when you're making that much money, you should, right, take the pain. But let's not act like this isn't going to affect Justin Herbert. Ball handling, fumbling, players are going to target it. When you're on the edge and they're coming after him, he's holding the ball with just one hand or whatever it may be. It's so much easier to knock that ball out. So Justin Herbert, hand fracture. Aaron Jones, shoulder injury. Again, just seems like every week we're talking about Aaron Jones and injuries. Kyron Williams left the game and came back with an ankle. Woody Marks had a foot injury, so monitor that. Marvin Harrison Jr., heel injury. This guy cannot get right this season, but he actually played pretty well yesterday. Parker Washington left the game with a hip, and we all saw Amon-Ra give you a big fat 0 on Thanksgiving with a low ankle sprain. Jonathan wants to know, since Justin's not here to boss me around, I can answer questions all I want. Good morning. Safer play this week. Wandell or Tracy ahead by 20. An opponent has Diggs. I would love to give you. I'm going to go deep into it. Yeah, Marv went really good yesterday. I'll take 6-7 for 69 yards. That's my kind of game. This morning, the temperature on the Mustang, as you know, I drive a 5.0 Mustang. No big deal. No bragging, whatever. Humble brag, whatever. GT. My son's like, hey, the temperature is 67 at 6-7. I can't wait for this to be over. 6-7 just hit the mainstream. My kids have been saying it for almost a year and a half now. I'm over it. We're just now hitting the peak of 6-7. I was in there in the inception. Then we got over it a little bit. Then it made a huge comeback. I don't know where. I don't know why. If you're a father or mother, you probably have been in the same situation as me. My kids have been saying 6-7 since middle school. They're now in high school. I don't know what it is, but I enjoy it. I'm going to get into Tracy versus Wandell. Short answer, though, I would tell you Wandell is a safer answer. I'll get into more of why when we get into the Night Brew edition of the show. So Jonathan also wants to know, should I drop one between Andrews, Schultz, and Waller? Man. The peak is yet to come. If I had to drop one, I would drop Waller. I don't know what his ambition is to come back and play well. Schultz has a very good role in that offense, and Andrews is hit or miss. Waller, to me, is the odd man out, Jonathan. I wouldn't be carrying him into the playoffs. Peak has yet to these brain. If you have kids, brain rots. 6-7. It's a ballerina cappuccino. It's a whole thing over here in the Kimmel household. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, that you're welcome, or good for you. Don't go look up brain rots. Don't look up cappuccino ballerina. It's nonsense. I don't know what these our children are screwed, as to put it very lightly, screwed. All right. Let's get into the great performances of the week. We did have some good performances. At the quarterback position, we talked about Joe Burrow. He scored 19.2 fantasy points. If you played him, good on you. I sat him in many leagues because I needed to see what Joe Burrow we're going to get. I was talking to Justin in our group chat privately going, man, I took Joe Burrow. I put a lot of parlays in this weekend, by the way. Holiday, Josh, gets wild on the Hard Rock Bet app here in Florida. We're only allowed to bet on the Hard Rock app because it's monopolized. It is what it is. I get crazy during the holidays. I was putting $25 parlays left and right. Boom, 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 boom. I hit one. I'm still up from that one. All you need to do is hit one. So I hit one. The one I missed was I bet Joe Burrow to throw an interception. I bet Joe Burrow the under on yardage. And I bet Joe Burrow the something else bad on Joe Burrow. He crushed my bet slip. My $25 was sent to the trash can, to the recycling bin, to wherever it went. And Joe Burrow had a very, very good game. But just remember, guys, weeks 1 and 2, he only threw for 189 yards and 2 touchdowns. They didn't look very good in those first 2 weeks against Cleveland and Jacksonville. The rest of the way, he's at Buffalo versus Baltimore, at Miami, and versus Arizona. It does look like he's shaping up to have a very good fantasy playoffs. I am very confident in playing Joe Burrow in the playoffs. Someone I'm not so confident in, but we're going to talk about. We're not to the receivers yet, Justin, or the bad people. We're to Bryce Young. He went 15 for 20 through 206 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. He has a bye week this week. So don't worry. You don't need to rely on Bryce Young to get into the playoffs. He can't do that for you. He's not going to be there. He's on a bye. But when he comes back in week 15 in the playoffs, he has at New Orleans, which I don't feel good about. Then he goes on, he's at home against Tampa, home against Seattle. Bryce Young's not a person I'm going to, I guess, rely on in the fantasy playoffs. It's good that he gave you this performance. If you started him, I doubt you did, but don't bank on him getting you far in the playoffs. Like I said, he's hot or cold. He doesn't have enough volume, just 20 attempts, 3 touchdowns, super efficient. Don't get me wrong. But games like these, when you're super efficient and you only score 22.5 fantasy points, it's a trap. It's a trap. Okay, a little more. Was not expecting. Okay, we'll get to all the oh my goodness, yes, Chuba. Trevor Lawrence is the last quarterback we're going to talk about today. 21.7 fantasy points, threw the ball 27 times, 229 yards, 2 touchdowns, and didn't need a Brian Thomas Jr. Brian Thomas Jr. is not even on my list of bad players to talk about. Is Brian Thomas Jr. irrelevant? Is this who he is? I mean, I don't want to call it early because, players bounce back, down years, stuff happens. But I don't think Brian Thomas Jr. is as good as he was last year. And I don't think he's as bad as he is this year. I think it's somewhere in the middle. But regardless, nonetheless, Trevor Lawrence without his top 2 options, Brian Thomas Jr. and Travis Hunter are out. He's getting it done with Brenton Strange and Jacoby Myers, who is probably, I'm not going to say Jacoby Myers is better than Brian Thomas Jr., but he's proved he is off this one game. Trevor Lawrence has got Indy, the Jets, Denver, then Indy again. Since week 5, that's a big sample size. Since week 5, he is the quarterback 7 on the year. He's been averaging 19.4 fantasy points per game. We like to hate on Trevor Lawrence when he's doing bad. Trust me, watch the news, watch the NFL Network, listen to the radio. Trevor was supposed to be the next big thing, and we love to get on him when he's bad. I don't hear the praise when he's good, and right now he's very good. Do I trust him in the fantasy playoffs? No, I don't. Think about it. Only 6 in a traditional league, 12 teams. Only 6 people make the playoffs. I don't think Trevor Lawrence is going to be on a lot of top 6 teams. If you're hurting and you need to stream somebody, I like his matchup against the Jets. I don't like it against Denver. And honestly, Indianapolis could be a wash. I'm not sure. Don't feel good about it. But Trevor Lawrence needs to get some respect because I've seen other quarterbacks who are now benched have runs like these and be drafted as a top 3 quarterback in the next startup. But now that person's benched and backing up Tyrod Taylor. But nobody's talking about Trevor. It's fine. It's fine. It is what it is. It is what it is. The running backs. The running backs, Bajan crushed it, 30.3 fantasy points, had 7 targets, 5 catches, 51 yards, 142 yards on the ground. Bajan's going to Bajan. He's going to crush no matter what. Love Bajan. I love to see super elite running backs, LTs of the world, the Le'Veon Bells, the Zeke Elliott's. Like when a running back, Derrick Henry, of course, when a running back is dominant for more than just 1 year, that's fun to watch. And I think Bajan is going to be that running back from years to come or for years to come. RJ Harvey, 21.2 fantasy points. The senior citizen himself with his 2.6 yards per carry got it done last night. 2 touchdowns, 35 yards on the ground, 13 carries. Cool. He scored touchdowns. He got the job done. He scored touchdowns. 2.69 yards per carry. Cool. Cool. I just have to put him in there. I had to talk about him. I'm a hater if I don't bring up RJ Harvey. Chuba Hubbard. Did not see this game coming, someone said. Was not expecting a Chuba game. I don't think anybody was. In my home league 2 weeks ago, he was dropped. I snatched him up. Waivers, free. No fab, no nothing, just free. In my dynasty, my big dynasty, I'm not going to disclose the amount of money. It's a lot. I traded Rico Dowdle for a 2nd-round pick and got smashed for it. Oh, he's elite. Have you seen his numbers? He's going to score. You just gave this guy a championship. Well, all right. I did the math. I did some investigating. I did some of my own thinking. Well, they paid Chuba. Rico Dowdle's about to be 28 years old. They paid Chuba. Rico's about to be 28 years old. They paid Chuba. Rico only did it against pretty much bad defenses. Chuba's their guy they believe in. They're going to get back to Chuba. It wasn't that hard to figure it out. Chuba had 17 carries. Rico had 18. So they were both heavily used. It wasn't a runaway, obviously. They both had about the same amount of carries. They both had the same amount of yardage, honestly. It's just Chuba had the touchdown. And that's why Chuba had the 20.4 fantasy points, while Rico Dowdle only had about 11. They're going to use both guys here. This isn't going to be a runaway of just Rico and Rico only. It's going to be hard week to week now to go, who do we start? Who do we trust? When they're both getting 15 to 18 carries a game like this, it's going to be difficult on fantasy managers heading forward into the future. So don't expect these games from Chuba all the time. Don't expect these games from Rico all the time. They are truly using the hot hand, or in this case, they're protecting their team. They're protecting Bryce, and they're running the football, establishing the run because they have 2 excellent running backs. Why wouldn't you do that? You have a subpar quarterback, 2 excellent running backs. Great coaching, Canellis. Why? This is awesome. So I think both running backs can be used moving forward. I think both running backs are a running back 2 play, and I think that they both can be plugged into your fantasy playoffs. Chuba Hubbard, again, 17 carries, 83 yards. What's going on? Big. I'm not going to, I'm going to mess that up. I'm going to call you Big, but I know your name. That's a familiar thing. Did you change your name? Looks like Raphael. Either way, Bucky Irvin is back. Bucky. Oh, breaking news. Adam Thielen is, I don't care. Okay, Adam Thielen is getting released from the Minnesota Vikings after I don't blame him. I wouldn't play for that team either. Bucky Irvin, 16.1, made his comeback, 17 carries, 61 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 catches, 20 yards, like nothing ever happened. Didn't miss a beat. Bucky Irvin looked great out there. I was really concerned to see his usage, and they just plugged him right back in like nothing happened. So that's good news right there. Wide receivers, A.J. Brown, 35.2 fantasy points. You can't predict it. You don't know what's going to happen. It's like going outside in the summer in Florida. Is it going to rain? I don't know. Who knows? It might. And if it does, it's only going to rain for 20 minutes. And it's going to be hard. And it's going to be humid the rest of the day. A.J. Brown, is he going to score 35? I don't know. But when he does catch a football, it's going to be hard. And it's going to last for about 1 game. And it's going to go away for a little bit. It's literally maddening trying to predict A.J. Brown and his future on this football team. I can't stand it. But he does produce. If you started A.J. Brown, good for you. Honestly, good for you. What's going on, Force? Here's a guy we can predict. He's back on top. Rashee Rice, 29.4 fantasy points, 12 targets, 8 catches, 92 yards, 2 touchdowns. Again, he is on that Jamar Chase tier. He is up there, guys. Get on board. Do not miss this train. He's going to be overdrafted next year, by the way. And last but not least, I had to add this guy because Justin had to talk on Blue Sky, as I saw. A.D. Mitchell, 24.2 fantasy points. He better be on that waiver show tomorrow, Justin. He better be on that waiver show because let me tell you, on his 12 targets, he caught 8 of them for 102 in that amazing, beautiful, wonderful touchdown pass. Justin Fields could never deliver, by the way. Only someone of the skills of Tyrod Taylor could put it right where it needs to be for A.D. Mitchell to become a superstar in this league. No, but in all seriousness, I do think that A.D. Mitchell is someone to watch if this is the route, if this is what they're going to do. It's just like if we're going to do it with Jacoby Brissett and Michael Wilson when they were a thing, we should pay attention to A.D. Mitchell if he's going to get the 12 targets. So that was surprising to me. That was a big shock of the weekend to me, is seeing A.D. Mitchell actually produce. Did he beat all of his records? Is this his career high? As in, is this his most yards he's ever had in his career ever? Had to be. It has to be. What's going on, Craig? Justin A.D. Been stashing Mike Evans since drafted. Heard he's coming back. Yeah, he's coming back. He's on his way back, and they need him back because that offense is struggling. What should I do with Troy Franklin and Emeka? Man, we'll get to Emeka later, but Troy Franklin, you stay strong. That was just a weird game. But Emeka, when Big Mike comes back, we'll talk about that in a second. He's on there. He's the only option in New York. Yeah, he's the only option in New York. Yeah. Yeah, that's why he must be a priority at. He might be the number 1 target this week. AD got a touchdown on an underthrown ball with a defender that literally fell. Again, something Bustin Fields couldn't do. Tyrod did it. Tyrod did it just fine. We'll get back to Emeka in a minute, Craig. We'll be back to Emeka because he sucked. But Brock Bowers, 22.3 fantasy points on 4 targets, 2 touchdowns. Great, he scored the 2 touchdowns. Are we worried with the 4 targets? Are we worried? I'm worried. I saw a tweet or a Blue Sky from someone saying that he's the best tight end in the world. He is. He's really good, but 4 targets scares me. I need to see more. Just like this guy, Trey McBride, 9 targets, 8 catches, 82 yards, 1 touchdown. He is, in my opinion, the best tight end in the world. And Zach Ertz. We all knew Zach Ertz was going to catch 10 balls, right? 106 yards, 13 targets with Marcus Mariota. If you didn't know, you're out of the loop. Zach Ertz was a great play this week. 20.6 fantasy points for Zach Ertz. I hope Drake May tonight and Diggs. Dude, tonight's going to be so much fun. All right, here's the players that are iced. If you like some iced coffee, because iced coffee's it's bad. We're not going to get into it. Sam Darnold, 3.1 fantasy points. He went 14 for 26, 128 yards, 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, lost a fumble. He's had 3 single-digit fantasy points performances in the past 4 weeks, and his team's good. His football team, the Seahawks, are very good. They just don't need to throw the ball, so it is what it is. He's got at Atlanta versus Indy versus the Rams, at Carolina on the way out. I can't trust Sam Darnold, and I don't think you can either, and you shouldn't. Lamar Jackson, 7.5 fantasy points, really crapped the bed. He's had less than 40 rushing yards in the past 2 weeks combined, 27 rushing yards this week. Something's going on there. He's not fully healthy. I believe it was 7 rushing yards the week before. That's not great for Lamar Jackson. Caleb Williams really showed himself, 10.5 fantasy football points. Fantasy football points, yeah. I said that correctly. 154 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. He's been awesome, but he really sucked the bed this week. Zay Flowers. I had a parlay. I told y'all I played a lot of parlays. I played about $100 in parlays. I played 4 slips, 25 each. This is the one I hit. But it came down to Sunday. It was Thanksgiving. It came down to the night game, and I was able to cash out because I hit 3 legs of the 4, and Zay Flowers, I bet the over 4.5 catches. I'm like, I can cash out for this amount or I can stay. And say Flowers going to catch 5 balls against Cincinnati. Nope. He caught 2 balls for 6 yards and lost a fumble, scored 0.6 fantasy points. Your boy cashed out, by the way, because I'm smart, right? Vegas, listen, Vegas wasn't built off of parlay. No, Vegas was built on parlays. All us wise guys here that think we're going to win hundreds and thousands of dollars playing these parlays, we lose them all. So I cashed out early. I took the money and I made another bet and took the profits. But Zay Flowers really crapped on everybody. 0.6. That's the point I was trying to make. 0.6. What are we doing? Michael Pittman, 2.3. Where were you at, Justin? Where was he at, Mr. Upside? Justin Jefferson. We have a problem. We have a problem with Justin Jefferson. I don't think he's playable the rest of the way. Unless JJ McCarthy comes in and all of a sudden becomes good at football. I don't know what we do with Justin Jefferson at this point. 2.4 fantasy points is an all-time low. 6 targets. It's embarrassing. You know, Justin in our Discord, which I ignored, came out there, tagged me. Josh said Justin Jefferson's the best receiver ever, and this and that, this and that. Yeah, he is. He is. He is the best receiver in the game. That's a fact. You can't argue that. And this is the first time we're seeing this. And now you want to jump on me? Now you want to jump on JJ? But when Chase does this, it's fine. When he does his 3 games a year at 2.6 points or 4.1 points, it's fine. The problem with JJ is this year is he's not giving you the 30 to 40 point games. He's not doing it. And it's not consistent enough. He has been probably the biggest fantasy disappointment this season alone. And it's because of the quarterback play and the coaching and the offensive line. There's a lot that goes into this. I'm not making excuses for my guy JJ, but I will say this: better days are ahead. And buy the dip. If someone in Dynasty is selling him now, go buy the dip. You will be happy. I don't think anyone's dumb enough to sell this guy low. But if you're in the playoff run, you better be smart enough to bench him and find better options. Because I did, and I think you should too. Rome Odunze, 2.8 fantasy points. If I can cuss on this show, I would. And I would say, this guy, I'm over him. I'm done with him. You can have him. I don't want him. What are we doing? Manon guy, the 7th round running back. That's who we're going to rely on, but no Rome Odunze. It just makes me so upset. Judkins really coming on. He really is coming on. He really is. I'm not reading any of these. I'm not reading any of these Justin comments. Not one of them. None of them. Rip to everyone who took JJ above Puka. Yeah. Rip to all of us. I'm not reading any of Justin's stuff. JSN 4.3. Oh, is JSN cooked, Justin? Is JSN cooked? 4.3 fantasy points, 2 catches, 23 yards. Is he cooked? No, he's fine. He'll be back. Jalen Waddle, 7 points. Emeka Mbuka. Okay. Emeka Mbuka, 8.2. To answer Craig's question, I am so concerned with Emeka and his usage because if you look at the early days when they were all healthy, when Big Mike was there, when Godwin was there, when Emeka was there, Emeka was scoring touchdowns and he was getting open. And I'm not going to say it was only because of Big Mike and Godwin and that offense was taking coverage away from him, but it kind of was. And his volume was very low, limited. It was 5 targets, 6 targets, getting the touchdowns. Touchdowns were huge for Emeka Mbuka at the beginning of the season. That's fallen off a lot. It's due to maybe some Baker injuries, some injuries in the offensive line. That Buccaneers offensive line is extremely banged up and bad right now. You miss Bucky Irvin for 7 games. That hurts your run game, of course. That offense took a huge hit, and Emeka was the only person left standing there. I believe in Emeka, the talent. It's just, what are we going to see when Big Mike does come back? Yes, I'm concerned of Emeka Mbuka. Yes, I'm very concerned. He's no longer the wide receiver 1 or 2 we expected. He's now a limited flex play in the right matchups. I don't think he's startable, but look around, guys. Who is startable these days? People are flying left and right. We have bye weeks heading into this week. Ted McMillan's out. We do have problems here heading into week 14. So make sure you watch Justin and Charlene tomorrow. They'll navigate you through all the bye weeks and let you know who to pick up and figure that out. But Emeka Mbuka, he's on watch. He's on watch. It's not a good watch. It's a watch of you're not a bust, but what are you doing to elevate? How are you growing? I could use an AEW wrestling analogy right now, and I will. Go back in 2019, go turn on your HBO Max and look at this character called Orange Cassidy or Jack Perry or basically anyone on the roster. Anyone on the AEW roster back in 2019. Fast forward to now in 2025. Every character is exactly the same. No one has grown. No one has progressed. Nobody has got a different gimmick. Nobody has elevated. Everyone's at the same level. Everyone. The main eventers from 2019 are still the main eventers. The mid-carders are still the mid-carders. The jobbers are still the jobbers. No one's changed. Emeka has still been the same player he's been since week 1 to week 13. He hasn't progressed. He stayed stagnant. That's the problem I'm seeing with Emeka right now. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's what I'm seeing. Saquon Barkley, 5.6 fantasy points, 13 carries, 56 yards. Underwhelming, man. Rico Dowdle, again, 18 carries, 58 yards. 18 carries is great. You wish your running back one had 18 carries. You wish. Keep on starting Rico Dowdle. He's fine. It's just a committee. Jahmyr Gibbs, 11.6. He's not going to give you 40 every week. And Ashton Jeanty, 2.1 yards per carry. 8 targets, 39 yards in the air off of 6 catches. He's not going to be successful unless the Raiders front office fix this offensive line and fix this offense. 2.1 yards per carry is not going to get it done. You wasted a draft pick with Ashton Jeanty. He should be somewhere else. Feel bad for him. And the last but not least, what would be a cold brews and hot takes without talking about A.J. Barner? Everyone's favorite tight end, 7.7 fantasy points on 5 targets. Surprisingly, he was the best Seahawk of the day. Surprisingly, the best Seahawk of the day. Stop starting him. Stop it. If Sam Darnold's not going to be efficient enough to support 2 wide receivers, he can only do one. It's JSN. He's not going to be able to support AJ Barner either. So we like watching him. Oh, Justin has a real question. Real question for Monday Night Football. So Drake May, 24 points tonight. Meanwhile, Henderson and Theo Johnson combined for less than 21.9. That can happen, right? It can happen. AJ did get a direct snap. He did. Early on in the game. Definitely did. I love him. I wish he was more involved. It's just he's not. And people want him to be involved. People want him to be a thing. It's just, is he going to be the guy who's going to get the 22% target share? I don't think he is. Not yet. I think that Drake May should beat out Henderson and Theo Johnson. Hopefully. Next question. Should I trade JJ for like a 4th round pick since... Let's get into the nightcap. We have the New York Giants, who are 2-10, at the New England Patriots, who are 10-2. The spread is only -7. The Patriots are favored. The over/under is 46.5. So do with that information what you will. I will not be touching tonight's game. I've lost too much money on parlays this week, although I hit that one, so I'm up. But still, no more parlays for your boy. The holidays are over. I'll be back during Christmas. Here are the auto starts. Jackson Dart. He is the quarterback 17 currently, averaging 18.2 fantasy points per game. I need, just selfishly, 19.8 fantasy points from Jackson Dart tonight to win my home league. I think that will happen because he scored 20 fantasy points in every single game he started this year, except for, I believe, the first one. Jackson Dart is that guy, which leads me into Mr. Wan'Dale Robinson. Since this is where I forgot who asked the question earlier about Wan'Dale or Tracy, but here's your answer. Since Jackson Dart has taken over, Wan'Dale Robinson is the wide receiver 11. Now, I know Jameis has been there as well, so it's not all Jackson Dart. But in that time, he has been the wide receiver 11, and that's since week 5, averaged 15.4 fantasy points per game. In that time, he's better than Amon-Ra St. Brown, who's averaged 15.1 fantasy points per game. That being said, Wan'Dale Robinson's already the wide receiver 13 on the year. He is the safer play. He's averaging 13.6 points per game this year. I do believe that he will get targeted early and often. The Patriots aren't the best defense, but they're not the worst defense. You can get around on them. I do like Wan'Dale Robinson over Tyrone Tracy because I think Tracy could be phased out. I think he could be game scripted out, whereas Wan'Dale will not be game scripted out unless he gets hurt. That's it. So I would start Wan'Dale. I would definitely start Wan'Dale over JJ in a guillotine league. Yeah. Yeah. Robinson and Neighbors can be stared. Yes. Yes. Even last year, Wan'Dale was the top 10 in targets like the entire year. He was top 5 even with Neighbors there. They throw the ball a ton in New York. Jackson Dart has proved that he's a really good quarterback and is going to be a good quarterback in this league for a long time. Just protect yourself. But Wan'Dale Robinson is an easy start over Tyrone Tracy. Drake May is averaging 20.3 fantasy points a game, Justin. So he should hit that. I'm worried about Theo Johnson, though, man. Like that, him and Dart and Theo are buddies, man, and they can hit for that touchdown. That's going to be scary. If Theo scores a touchdown, I think you lose, Justin. That's just simple opinion. So you're starting Drake May. The mess startables is Tyrone Tracy. Tyrone Tracy is a running back 40. Oh, Drake May is only for one league? Okay. You don't need both to happen. Oh. Well, either way, Drake May is going to score. He's going to get you the win, I think, tonight. But Tyrone Tracy's averaging 8.7 fantasy points per game. He's averaging 16.9 in his last 2 weeks. In his last 2 weeks, he's had 269 total yards. It's been pretty good. He's had 39 carries, 150 yards on the ground, 7 catches, 119 yards. Tyrone Tracy's been stepping it up, but that's with Jameis on the field. Let's see how this offense goes with Jackson Dart. Are they going to do more design runs with Jackson Dart? Are they going to chill with Jackson Dart? Because we know that Jameis didn't have design runs. Jackson Dart does and did. So let's see how they handle that. Tyrone Tracy could take a step back, especially if Jackson Dart is getting more time running the ball, because we know he loves to run the ball. Who was the New England wide receiver 1? Drake May spreads the ball. Yeah. Who is it? They don't have one. The Patriots don't have a wide receiver 1. Getting into Diggs in a second. Here's the running back situation, though, over in New England. Trevion Henderson, running back 20 on the year. He's had double-digit carries each week since week 8. Last week, though, he only had 1 red zone carry, where Ramondre Stevenson had 3 in a game where Ramondre Stevenson had under double-digit carries. They love Stevenson. I don't know what to do. I can't stand New England. Is this something that they will always do until the day I die? Oh, we're not going to have a solid running back. We're going to have like 3 of them, and you don't know which one it's going to be each week. Ramondre Stevenson, 32% of the snaps last week, 3 red zone touches. Sickening. I could easily see that happen again tonight. It's gross. I don't know why they're doing it. Stevenson only has 3 touchdowns on the year, whereas Henderson did that in 1 game. What are we doing? Pisses me off. But Trevor Henderson, I do believe, should have a big game if they stop it with this stupid Ramondre Stevenson nonsense. Stupid. And Stephon Diggs. You would say he's the wide receiver 1. He is, if you look at all the statistics. Douglas and Booty only have about 24, 25 catches each. Stephon Diggs has more than that. But I have been reading the comments, and this one comment sticks out in my mind, and it will always stick out in my mind. The one dude who got mad because I said Stephon Diggs is putting up tight end numbers. That's what he said. He was mad at me because Stephon Diggs had a really good week in week 11. He had 9 catches, 105 yards, and he told me he tight end numbers. Okay. Week 11, 9 catches, 105 yards. Great. Weeks 8, 9, 10, 12 weeks, let me repeat that. Weeks 8, 9, 10, 12. Diggs had 118 yards on 13 catches in all 4 of those weeks. All 4 of them. He is the guy. He is the wide receiver 1. But Drake May spreads the ball way too much around. Way too much. It could be a Booty game. It could be a Douglas game. It could be a Diggs game. It could be a Hunter Henry game. It could be a Henderson game. We don't know. But Diggs is a safer bet. He leads the team in targets. Got more catches than Douglas, more catches than Booty, and he's going to be involved a lot more. We want Diggs to score touchdowns. That's how he's relevant. It's not the yardage anymore. Yes, he had a great week 11. Yes. Talk to me about weeks 8, 9, 10, and 12, commenter, that one dude. I know you're watching. What about those weeks? They weren't there. But Stephon Diggs, you're going to start him. Unfortunately, he's a wide receiver 21 on the season. Hunter Henry, tight end 7, 10.4 fantasy points per game. He has the highest yards per reception in his career right now, 13.1. In 2016, it was a little bit higher, but he had a very small sample size to this sample size. The Giants are 6th best against the tight end for the fantasy purposes, only allowing 9.4 fantasy points per game. Hunter Henry pops off, and then he goes away. Then he pops off, then he goes away. If you're desperate, start him, but I would not be starting him in a flex. He's a tight end only. He's not good enough to be a flex. Don't talk about this 24-point game he had last week, because guess what? The week before that wasn't there, and it won't be there. He's very inconsistent, but I do like him at the tight end position. Definitely startable, especially with Drake May at the helms. So what do you need to win tonight? I told y'all I need about 19. I don't know where my phone is. I need about 19 or so from Jackson Dart to win my matchup. I'm going against the number 2 seed in my home league. I'm the number 1 seed. He's the number 2 seed. The number 3, 4, and 5 seed all lost. If I win today, I lock up the number 1 seed most likely. So that being said, I need Jackson Dart to go off tonight. Again, sound off. What do you need? Drake May, not Henderson or Theo. Justin needs Drake May, not Henderson or Theo. So we're going to wrap it up there. I want to thank everybody for watching the show. I hope everybody had a phenomenal Thanksgiving. I hope it was relaxing. I hope everybody won their bets if they made them. I hope everyone won their contest if they played the underdog. Again, play 5, get 100 on underdog. FN Plus is the promo code. I did not show the commercial, Justin. I apologize. I was heated in the moment. You never know what's going to come out of my mouth. You never know. Could be good, could be bad, could be indifferent. But one thing you do know is I'll be here every Monday at noon for your cold brews and hot takes. And I'll be back Wednesday to argue Justin with the showdown, the last regular season showdown of the year, helping you get into the fantasy football playoffs. And again, make sure you watch tomorrow's show. Charlene and Justin will let you know if Blake Corum is the truth, or should we pick up AD Mitchell? Should we drop this person? The people over there on the Tuesday show are phenomenal, so make sure you watch them as well. I'm going to wrap it up, guys. I've been talking too long. Hope you have a good Monday. Until Wednesday, guys, peace out. Have a wonderful day.
Thanks for listening. Be sure to like and subscribe wherever you watch or listen to podcasts. We'll be back next week for more ways to win your league.